But now we wasn't talking about all that politics. You're not interested in politics when you're hungry anyhow. See, because the election wouldn't be till November. Now, if you ain't had nothing to eat since January, you won't be too much interested in who's running for office. Let's get real. Okay, you have something that you call income. Whatever it is. It's the money that you get that you live on, right? And you lived all through, say, 1998 on your income. And most of us, how much did we save? How much of your income do you have left over at the end of 1998? How much of your income do you have left? Most people don't have none left. Matter of fact, you was living above your means, weren't you? Because you had them charge cards. So you was charging everything. So not only did you spend everything that you got in 1998, but you were also buying on credit, so you were in hock through 99. Isn't that right? Well, now let's look at this. Suppose you have to hold out for 3 months in the year 2000 because your job shut down, the supermarket is closed, you have no utilities, you ain't get no help from no place, your Social Security check don't come, your Veterans Administration check don't come, your welfare check don't come. All the stuff that you dependent on ain't working no more. Your Medicare don't work no more, your Medicaid don't work no more, the hospital don't work no more. So now here we really are in the middle of a disaster now, and you trying to hold out. You think, well, I think this thing will blow over and white folks will be back in power within 3 months. At least you hoping that they'll be back in power. Well, now 3 months is equal to 25% of a year, right? So doesn't it stand to reason that if you're going to have to support yourself on what you have stored up, and you're going to support yourself for 3 months, then doesn't it stand to reason that you're going to have to somehow or other save 25% of your current income that you're going to earn in 1999 to apply it to the 3 months or so that you're going to have to wait it out in the year 2000? Am I making sense? Are you with me on this? See, so then what does that mean for your budget in 1999? It means that in 1999, you're going to have to live on 75% of your income. If you try to live at 100% of your income, you're not going to have nothing to set aside for the year 2000. You're going to have to lower your expectations. God is already bringing you down. You're like a grasshopper that's been flying high. And now you're feeling the first puff of that chill. That means autumn is coming. And soon winter is going to be here. And your high-flying days are over. So I want you to think about this. Now, what will you do with this 25% that you will save? See, in other words, you have to save if you intend to save yourself. So you're talking about what you are saving or not saving. Well, what you're really not saving is yourself. And if you won't save yourself, then what will you save? So here's what you have to do as we close out. And we're not done, but we just have to close out. It's time. That's what America's going to say. We're not finished with what we was doing. But Allah going to say, it's time. So what you have to do is think about it in different ways. You have to think about it as an individual person, because you certainly have to save your life. The Holy Quran says, he who saves the life, it is as though he had saved the lives of all men. Well, certainly the life that you need to save is your own. So you have to think about, what will it take for me as an individual person to survive this fall of America that Y2K is a part of? Then you're a member of a family, because you didn't get here by yourself. You have a mother and a father. You may have sisters. You may have brothers. You may have children and grandchildren, uncles and aunts, nephews and nieces, and on and on and on. And that is your family. Now, what are you going to do to see to it that your family survives? Or don't you care about your family? See, if all these things are going to take place January the 1st, year 2000, then you got to make a move before January the 1st. If you wait till the 31st of December, that's too late. If grandma's down in Mississippi, somebody got to go get grandma now. You got to decide who you think your family is. Who's in your family anyhow? Which ones do you care about and which ones don't you care about? Which ones do you want to live and which ones are you prepared to let die? What about your neighbors? See, you live in Chicago, most of you. Living in apartment houses, in densely populated neighborhoods. Remember Exodus? Didn't Minister Farrakhan tell us to go out and make friends with our neighbors? He didn't say get no customer across town. You on the south side of Chicago and you got a customer on the west side. No, your customer should be your next door neighbor. Because when Y2K comes, your neighbors are either going to be your enemies or your allies. Have you organized your apartment yet? So all the people that live in your apartment building understand what is taking place, and all of them are going to be ready so that you will be a united force in order to help everybody to survive. Or do you have a situation going on, you don't talk to your neighbors and they don't talk to you. You don't care about them and they don't care about you. Because if it's like that, then some of your neighbors, they coming through your wall. You talking about, I'm prepared myself. I got my beans. Well, guess what? Somebody got an axe and they coming through your wall. They coming down through your ceiling. And they're going to take what you got because you didn't make friends with them while you had a chance. I asked a brother one time, he was talking about he was going to board up his house, and he was looking for a stink bomb because when he started cooking the bean soup, he didn't want the neighbors to be able to smell the bean soup. I said, brother, do your children play with the children across the street? He said, yeah. I said, do they come in your house? Yeah. Do your children go in their house? Yes. I said, now, brother, would you be prepared to watch your children's playmates starve to death? Would you be prepared to do that? I asked another group, I said, who would you be ready to kill over a bowl of bean soup? And if you did that, would you still be considered a Muslim? Or would you be considered something else? See, how do you get through a disaster like this? How do you get through the judgment of the world and maintain your religion? Maintain your righteousness? Or do you descend and become a savage and like a beast of prey in the jungle, preying on one another? Can you maintain civilization when the civilization so-called that you have known is being destroyed? Then we have to think about this thing. Who belongs to your neighborhood? Who belongs to your community? Who do you consider worth saving? If the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that if I have a bowl of bean soup and my brother has none, then half of my bean soup belongs to my brother. Well, wait a minute. See, we've been clapping to the principle. It's a beautiful principle, but we've been clapping to the principle without the practice. Why don't you put it to a test? Why don't you ask your brother for a half a bowl of bean soup and see if you get it? Why don't you ask your sister for a half a bowl of bean soup and see if she want to charge you $1 for it? See, because when Y2K comes, that's not the time to find out who your allies are. That's not the time to find out where your help is. That's not the time to find where your support is. You got to know that in advance. Or you think this is a joke? Do you think that you really have to be ready, or you can just be a grasshopper and just skate around all the next year and not get ready? Do you think that you can live 1999 like you lived 1998? Don't you understand that your world has already changed? You don't live in the same world that you once lived in. If you're the same old person that you used to be, then you are going to be a non-survivor. A survivor is one who outlives something, who outlasts something. I don't know how long this Y2K disaster is going to bring things to a halt. I personally don't believe that America will ever get herself up out of the dust. The book says that Babylon the Great has fallen to rise no more. Allah don't bring down his enemies so they can get back up. When Allah take you down, you stay down. When he kills you, you stay dead. So what we got to be talking about is how are all of us going to get together and prepare ourselves. There is no such thing as individual preparation. Ain't no individual's going to survive. Preparation is a characteristic of a community. Maybe that's why Minister Farrakhan gave us self-improvement as the basis of community development. Because we have to improve ourselves individually so we can be fitting and qualified members of a community that will contribute to the life and well-being of each other. We got to think for the whole. How much food is needed by this congregation? How much water is needed by this congregation? How much medicine is needed by this congregation? And when are we going to pool our resources and make ourselves ready before it's too late? The Mormons announced last week they have stopped selling food to non-Mormons. The Mormons are buying up all of the food-producing companies across the country. They're taking care of their people. The Southern Baptist Convention, they have alerted their congregation. They're buying down the food stores in the warehouses across America. They're buying the solar technology. They're buying the radios. They're buying the generators. They're buying the water storage and the water purification kits. By the time we wake up, the shelves are going to be empty. I asked a group yesterday, I asked this group, where do they keep the food in Chicago? I don't mean the jewel market. They got about 48 to 72 hours worth of food in that market. I mean, where do they keep the real food? Where is the warehouse? Is it in your neighborhood? Do you know where it is? Do you know who has the key? Do you know the phone number? What do you know about the food in Chicago since you live in Chicago? You better find out where the food is. And you better make some kind of a deal with the people that got the food. Otherwise, you'll have none. So get your finances together. Buy gold, buy silver. Have things that you can trade and barter, just in case these dollars ain't worth nothing. We had a series of articles in the Final Call So I'm not going to go through the individual food items and things that you should have. Just go get those articles. It has everything in there that you need to survive. And then you have to look at it for yourself, because there may be some special needs that you have. For example, you might like toilet paper. I don't know. A lot of people do. So if you're one of those people that you like toilet paper, well, how much toilet paper would you need for 3 months or 6 months? Or else just save your phone book. They got a big phone book in Chicago. That might get you through in a pinch. Don't forget the can opener. Don't forget the flashlight. Do you have any ham radios so that you can communicate independent of radio and telephones? Do you have your medical kit, your first aid kit? Sister, are you going to be pregnant in the year 2000? Who's going to deliver your baby? Does your husband know how to deliver a baby yet? You ain't going to Providence Hospital. You won't even want to be in there with all them computers and stuff going wrong in there. On that day, hospitals are going to be a death trap. Airplanes going to be a death trap. You got to learn how to do for yourself. You better go back down south and talk to grandma and grandpa. You better ask them how to survive. I know you got a college degree, but they didn't teach you how to survive in college. But Grandpa and Uncle Jesse, he knows how to survive. You better see if you can get Uncle Herman to move in with you. Aunt Sadie needs to get the back bedroom in your house, because Aunt Sadie knows how to can and you don't. You better settle those differences that keep us apart and at odds with one another. Settle your differences so that we can embrace as a loving, compassionate community. So brothers and sisters, that's just a peek